Alright, hey everyone, my name is Sunjay. I'm a fourth-year computer science major at Cal Poly. I'm going to be graduating in December, but before I graduate, I want to tell you about a really cool conference I went to last quarter called GTC. GTC is a GPU technology conference, and before I can really talk about that, I have to talk about something called CUDA. And what is CUDA? So CUDA allows programming on the GPU. For those of you that don't know, GPU stands for GPU Processing Unit, and that's different than the CPU in that it has many more cores. There's hundreds of cores on the GPU than there is on the CPU, and all these cores run in parallel. So you're able to do things much faster in certain particular applications. And as you can see, these are kind of the benchmarks in gigaflops. These various graphics cards run programs so much faster. And applications that can be parallelized can make use of these multiple cores. So applications such as cryptography, databases, networks, quantitative finance, bioinformatics. There's so many topics. And this technology is so kind of disruptive, so can change the face of computing, that there's this conference every year put on by NVIDIA that brings together researchers, developers, executives, students, all sorts of people that are interested in this kind of stuff and want to talk about it and share what they're learning. And at GTC, there was 3 different keynotes. One of them was by the CEO of NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, and he not only talked about the newest things to CUDA, but also the newest graphics cards that are coming out. And these graphics cards, you can kind of see it in the back right there. It's the newest version of the Tesla compute cards. And these compute cards aren't like your desktop cards in that they focus on doing computation for various applications. And one of the applications is CGI, so computer-generated graphics. I don't know if any of you have seen the newest DreamWorks movie, but all those images are all computer-generated, right? No one actually drew them into the movie. So with these more intense graphics cards, you can have better CGI. Another application is was talked about in the second keynote by Ezra Fines, weird last name. Anyways, he was from Baylor. He talked about fractal globules, which is your DNA all bound up in a cell. And he was looking at how the DNA interacts with each other. And he was only able to do this because he had these K20s. And actually at Cal Poly, we're fortunate enough to have 4 of these Tesla compute cards. And it's thanks to this guy, Dr. Professor Lupo. He is not here currently, but he teaches the CUDA class, which I took last quarter. And he also presented at GTC. And he talked about ocean modeling and trying to use that for predictions. And the reason that we use kind of the GPU instead of the CPU, which you probably all use if you use a computer, is that these things take too long to run on the CPU. The GPU provides us much more speed and much faster. Another person who presented at GTC, Joseph White, he was a Cal Poly grad student, and he was looking at how to break weak RSA keys. RSA keys are something used in cryptography. And it was really interesting because he, poster session right there, that was another thing that took place at GTC, as these poster sessions. But it wasn't all just lectures and poster sessions and kind of boring stuff. It was also some fun stuff, like this. So this is a 3-monitor display with pedal, wheel, shocks, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in a real car, and you can really feel how a car interacts. Another cool demo that they had at GTC was something called the Oculus Rift. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's a 3D gaming thing that you put on, and you kind of transport it into this virtual reality, and it's very realistic. Huge disruptive potential. They're in development phases, so it's still being worked on. Another cool thing at GTC was this hands-on labs they had. So none of you, or a lot of you haven't programmed in CUDA. Well, they had lots of beginners there, and people would come around and kind of show you what to do and help you and explain. And so kind of the takeaway from all this is learning is fun. It was kind of cool. I kind of realized that I'm more interested in using GPUs for quantitative finance and stock market analysis, predictions, stuff like that. And you only kind of get this experience at Cal Poly with this CUDA class that isn't really offered anywhere else. It isn't offered at many other schools. It was great, and I am so fortunate to do this because it's mostly just grad students at these things. So thank you, and.